The mayor of Carterville told me, and it's not very far from Carbondale, he would not be surprised if there was not a structure in his town not damaged.
Is that right?
In other words, he believed that possibly every building in his town had some type of damage. And there's 5,000 people live there, so that gives you some idea of just how devastating this was and widespread. It's more widespread than a tornado. You know, a tornado obviously affects a specific area.
Kind of skips around too, and this was not that kind of a storm.
No, this was a wide-ranging, far-reaching, devastating storm that hit everything all at once.
You were kind of wearing two hats. One, you're just an individual experiencing the storm like everyone else, and on the other hand, as a state rep, how did you divide, your own needs and then kick into gear as a state representative?
The advantage of cell phones today. After the storm, within 15 minutes, one of my neighbors had borrowed my chainsaw. I called him in Carbondale and said, I got to get to it. So he came over, we got the chainsaw out, he got his chainsaws, and the neighborhoods come together. We started clearing main streets. At the same time, I was calling IEMA, FEMA, and emergency management, screaming, okay, this is what we got. At which time, several of them were already on. Understand, within 2 hours, we had the regional FEMA and IEMA emergency management personnel into the area helping coordinate our local cities who had moved in quickly. I always have my mayor's and my county board chairman's numbers, so I'm calling them and finding out what they're doing. We're touching base. I'm continuing to cut limbs, pull limbs out of the way, getting roads cleared so emergency vehicles can move. Of course, understand I was also a firefighter before I came into this job, and so it was just kind of shifting back into the old mode, plus making the telephone calls, and the response was good.
Well, the state's response has been terrific. Governor Quinn has been very responsive. Attorney General Lisa Madigan has been very responsive. On Friday afternoon, actually while we were out with the neighbors in the streets trying to clear the streets and make sure that people were taken care of, I received a call from the governor's office, and we spoke. And while I was standing in the street helping get limbs out of a street near my home, and they knew the urgency. And they responded quickly. We had a declaration of disaster within 20 hours. They responded with IDOT employees. They responded with Department of Corrections employees, and also inmates for cleanup. They responded with IEMA immediately. The Department of Insurance was down there Monday helping people with insurance claims and insurance problems. I mean, the governor has been there. The governor was there on Tuesday. I mean, just overall, it's been very, very responsive, and I'm very proud of the state and the way it uses its resources to help us. We weren't going to let something like Katrina happen in Southern Illinois, and so I was very aggressive. The other legislators I know were very aggressive in terms of making sure that the resources got there as quickly as possible. And so it's a give and take when you're dealing with those kinds of things, and we just kept pushing and the resources got there, and they got there quickly. Now we need to sustain it.
You know, you can say your legislators, they done this, they made phone calls, they done on your mayor, got on the radio. Some of them complained, some of them hollered. But you know what? The individuals, they was there. They're the real heroes of this thing. It brought them all together. It shows what a community can do if something like this happened. I was so impressed. It was just unbelievable.
Everyone pulled together. It's just great to see the people of Southern Illinois come together. Neighbor helping neighbor, community helping community, and if there's a silver lining in the clouds on Friday, that was it, to see all the people working together. And the utility companies, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, 2,000 people down there working. It's the largest response I can ever remember from utility companies on a situation like this. So.
Marion, I have to tell you, when you see the convoy of trucks come past your street and they stop and they start working on things, it's a very reassuring sight. And everyone in Southern Illinois, I know, really appreciates the job that they did and the quick job that they did. There's still power out in my home, as there is in many others. But I know they were working very hard to try to put things back together, and my hat's off really to everyone who pitched in, even neighbor to neighbor. It was really a very hopeful thing to see.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government
and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.